It will have an impact on the movies. Crores of rupees being spent on making some movie on just a prompt. In few minutes, you can create a video like this. How it will impact? It will directly slash the cost to 1%, 2%, 5%. It will directly slash the time of making the movie from few years to few minutes. Few years to few minutes, not incremental. 365 दिन का 300 दिन में कर दिया नहीं, 365 दिन का 3 दिन में कर दिया. This is the profound impact, my dear friends. I'm trying to just put the numbers so that you understand. Right? It will change the gaming industry, it will change the movies, it will Bollywood, Hollywood, right? This is the kind of impact. I've tried to mix and match both the words. AI for agriculture. What do you think? There is this, again, an app called Umang. This is an application by Government of India. Can you believe? We are so proud of Government of India, right? So many things happening in India with a huge market in India, right? And then we are exporting this to the world, building in India to the world, right? With this application, you can do crop, which crop to put next year. How the weather, rainfalls are going to look like in the next 1 day, 1 week, 1 month, 1 year, so that I can plan, right? What is going to be the price today? Biggest problem of farmers. This app is solving. AI in agriculture. One more simple example. AI. There's one application which you can just scan the crop and it will tell you what disease it has, which pest is biting it, which pesticide you should use, and where exactly you should use. अभी छिड़काव कैसे होता है? और वो छिड़काव हम लोग खा लेते हैं. Inorganic food, then ask organic food, inorganic food. You can direct it to the particular place. Exactly, you will save the pesticide consumption. You will save humanity. And you will save humanity. AI for agriculture. Again, text to music. Can you believe? मतलब पप्पी लहरी और अनु मलिक ने कभी सोचे नहीं होंगे कि उनके जॉब को खतरा होगा. We are writing a prompt. Music industry is getting disrupted. All these are applications which are out there, guys. Of course, for a charge, but very frugal charge, 1%, 2%, 5% of what you could pay. Okay, we talked about AI, right, as a co-pilot, right? How many of you have used Smart Compose, right? You write on a Gmail, right? A good 20, 30, 40%. Right? Help me write of Google Gmail, right? All these are available for us. Help me summarize. All these are available. Scheduling meetings. A simple application. This I took in the middle because this is the most popular one. Right? How many of you used ChatGPT, right? अपने बच्चे भी वही कर रहे हैं. ChatGPT कर रहे हैं. Right? I'm not going to talk about this. AI for content generation, right? So this is a very good bunch of tools available for text to image. Right? Give a prompt and will generate Midjourney, Dali 2, Adobe, Firefly. Right? These are tools available where on a prompt you can generate an image. क्या कर सकते हैं image का? You can use it for social media posts. Right? Best use case. Or you can make your own presentations. Right? Some of which I have used myself. This is an old ad, but I'm sure you've used it. But I don't know whether you realize that it is AI generated.
King Shah Rukh Khan, the world's biggest movie star, their brand ambassador.
इस दिवाली आप भी अपने पास वाले फैशन और एम्पोरियम से ही कपड़ों की शॉपिंग करें। सिद्धि विनायक इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स से लेटेस्ट स्मार्टफोन खरीद कर धमाकेदार सेल्फी पोस्ट करना।
क्या कर रहे हो? We used machine learning to recreate Shah Rukh Khan's face and voice to take the local store names in the ads.
आप भी अपने पास वाली चॉइस ऑफ फैशन से ही कपड़ों की शॉपिंग करें। रॉयल फैशन से ही, एनके क्लॉथ्स से ही, पास वाली लक्ष्मी कलेक्शन से ही कपड़ों की शॉपिंग।
So I'll make it very simple what they're doing. It's important to understand. So what they're doing is, this is what a GAN, Generative Adversarial Network. It operates, the algorithm model operates in this part. And the text that you give and the voice it generates, the AI algorithm figures out what kind of lip sync is required. Right? This is number one technology breakthrough. And this is done by an Indian company, Rephrase.ai. Last month, this company got acquired by Adobe from Silicon Valley. Adobe use them? Adobe acquired this company, Rephrase.ai. Okay? So, this GAN model, Generative Adversarial Network, right? It generates a new kind of lip sync and a voice. The voice generates here, lip sync generates. It changed on this portion using a machine learning algorithm. What else did it do? It used location to find out which is the nearest store and said, यहाँ पे बाजू में जामखान के बाजू में क्या है, right? या मिहान के बाजू में क्या है? It used that store, maybe distributor or retailer, and said, रोहन किराना वाला से ही खरीदिए, क्योंकि रोहन किराना वाला यहाँ बाजू में। It uses location. This is the power of AI. Guys. You can blend many things into one and launch something. Okay. We talked about this codex. Right. Those of you think that you can't build the next Apple, Google from Nagpur, right? Since you don't know coding, forget it. This is already disrupted. OpenAI already launched codex. On a prompt, it will give you a code. I don't know whether you heard NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang just 4 days back. He said, don't teach your children coding. There are companies like White Hat Junior who go that coding is sikhao. Correct. Baidu had acquired White Hat. So NVIDIA CEO said, don't teach coding. Right? You don't do your coding. Everything, the application will do, AI will do. So Codex from OpenAI. OpenAI is the same company which has launched ChatGPT. AI for manufacturing. How many of you are in manufacturing? Wow, a good 20 or 30%. So think of each process that you have. You can automate that process with an AI to improve the efficiency. Correct? You can have robots. These robots can be trained to do exactly what you want. To do exactly what you want. Correct? एक छोटा सा एग्जांपल ना हल्दीराम को सब जानते हैं तो I had met these 3 founders. I keep meeting, but I remember a conversation I had about 10-12 years back. तो मैं पूछा तीनों में से how do you divide the work? तो उसमें से राजू भैया बोले मैं टेस्टिंग नहीं करता हूँ. One of the founders saying I do the tasting. The iconic Haldiram brand. Correct? Imagine, I mean, इतना important हो समझ रहे हो job taste. So you can, AI can do everything. AI can taste. You can automate each and every process. Assembly line, you can automate that. Correct? Everything in a manufacturing setup can be automated. That is what we call 4.0, manufacturing 4.0. You can have maintenance based on predictive AI. You can say that this many hours, it will break down exactly, precisely. Right? You can save so much cost. AI for healthcare. This is very fascinating, guys. Imagine, हम जब बोलते हैं कि हम बीमार हैं, बीमार can be a smaller magnitude of बीमारी, like viral fever है, 3-4 दिन में चला जाएगा, or a higher magnitude of fever being cancer. Viral समझ में आता है, COVID समझ में आता है. These are small bacteria / which infects the cells, proteins which infects the cell. This is the picture of a cell, right? On a microscope, this is a picture of a cell. Now take an extreme case of cancer. What is cancer? Cancer is a cell malfunction which happens for lack of oxygen or infusing toxins into it over a long period of time. That is cancer. Lack of oxygen for a long period of time, or less oxygen for a long period of time, or infusing toxins for a long period of time. Now you can have nanobots, छोटे bots, which are trained on machine learning models with a direction. You have to go to these cells only with these 5 characteristics, which are like cancer related characteristics. It will go to those cells and destroy those cells. And this can be soluble capsules. This kind of technology is getting researched, and soon you will have solutions like this in the market. Nanobots, Khaliji nanobots. It will go or inject your region. It will destroy the pathogens, right? It will kill the cancer cells. Also, we have all learned about this in our high school. Majority of the disease that we have is inherited. Okay? Baldness, for example. Okay? It's not a disease, but some kind of infirmities. And it all comes from DNA, hereditary. Diabetes is hereditary. You can go and change that using this nanobots. Believe me, friends, all this you will start seeing all this happening. AI in healthcare is going to be phenomenal, pretty large. It will destroy the pathogen. It will correct the DNA error. It will eliminate the toxins in the body. Right? Directly done. AI for transportation. Correct. In the next few years, you will find drones, thousands of drones, millions of drones flying in the air. Why they will fly? Because there is no space to go on the road. Go to Mumbai, go to Bangalore. Bangalore is the tech capital, Silicon Valley of India. There's a joke in Bangalore. Jayanagar is a residential community. From Jayanagar to IT side, with Whitefield, it will take 3 hours. So how much time it will take from Whitefield to Jayanagar? God knows. Bangalore में joke है, Bangalore वाले joke है, वहीं से सुना. Second joke ये है. Zepto, what is that application? 10 minutes delivery. Zepto. So Bangalore is the only city in the world where developers are building solutions for delivering in 10 minutes. The same set of developers who take 3 hours to go to the office. They are solving that problem. So AI for transportation. Guys, with millions of flying cars, you will need AI. आपको ट्रैफिक वाला मामू सॉल्व नहीं कर सकता प्रॉब्लम. रोड पे कर सकते हैं. It's a linear problem. यहाँ से यहाँ दिखा दो, इसको आगे बढ़ो. But this problem can be solved only through AI. AI for transportation. You will have drones flying. You will have passenger cars flying in thousands and millions. Only AI can solve. AI for transportation is already happening. Self-driving cars. We have one car guy here sitting, right? You will find self-driving cars. I have seen one in the Silicon Valley Bay Area, and they do amazing job. When you sit inside, you are scared, no doubt about it, but they do amazing job, right? And they are all powered by AI. VMA is a company from Google. Uber is doing it. Tesla is doing it. I tested on Tesla. Amazing autopilot. 4th, 5th level of self-driving autonomy. AI for algo trading. बहुत सारे लोग तो शेयर मार्केट में पैसे लगाते हैं. How many of you have tried algo trading? Share market, algo trading. Right? So you have heroes are street users, right? Algo trading. You've got algo bulls, and there are many of them. to predict which stock will go by what percentage. Imagine. हम कभी सोच रहे थे नीचे गिर गया खरीद लो, right? ऐसे करते ना ये ऊपर जा रहा है बेच लो. But imagine the power of AI that can be used, and same technology can be used for your commodities. You're dealing with commodities, pricing of commodities, right? All this can be implemented in a very profound way. And finally, who was the first guy who lost the job? He was the first guy, Tom the cat.
Laughing Tom. Then watch this. Is it okay if I laugh now, Tom? That's how it is, Tom. Progress, the machine age and stuff like that.
Say machine age and stuff like that. The machine age is upon us nowadays. AI is upon us. Right? Thank you so much. We have some time for AI. We talked about it. It is $4 trillion. Right? What is $4 trillion? Juxtapose it with the size of UK's economy. It is $3 trillion. It is much more than this.
उनका स्टेशन बड़ा है तो उनका जो बोगी था वो आधा बोगी प्लेटफॉर्म पे था तो बड़े खुश हो गए. खाना वाना खा लिए, सब कुछ कर लिए, तभी भी टाइम था. तो देखिए स्टेशन मास्टर का रूम है, तो स्टेशन मास्टर के रूम में गए और बोले कि भाई देखो, एक तो लास्ट डब्बा होना ही नहीं चाहिए और अगर रखना है तो कहीं तो बीच में रखा करो. So when we talk about creativity, the dictionary of creativity and the dictionary of design, I mean, there is a dictionary within creativity and within design as well. But if you go by the meaning, as stated by Rohit, it's got very little to do with the art form and the paint form and the dance form. That might be very small. It's about how you think, what you think, whether you have an ability to have a bird's eye view and create a solution that becomes a design for many to follow. Are you getting my point? So it's all about how one thinks. And in our education system, when actually we became independent after a lot of hardship, as you all know, in 1947, then we became a socialist form of government. We wanted to become an industrial nation. We wanted to create jobs because we had a lot of population. So India decided to go one way, but in the education system that we followed, which was designed in 1956, we kept English at the top. Then came mathematics, then came physics, then came chemistry, then came botany, zoology, history, geography, civics, economics. We forgot about creativity, design, performing arts, sports. And as we went to schools, we never had marks for any of these topics. And that's why we grew up to be very different people. The creativity has gone out of the window. We were systematically told how not to be creative. But there was that one Kira in all the Indians. Because here, there were a lot of people who have never gone to school. In our film industry, we are about 23-24 lakh people across India. And we only had two schools. One was called FTI and one was called SRFTI. And both the schools put together took only 70 students. Now for such a big industry that we built in 110 years, we are the largest filmmaking country in the world. We make about 1800 to 1900 films in a year. 1800 to 1900 films get censored in a year. So the creation might be more than 2000. And only 1000 odd films get released in the theaters. So as these many films were getting made, and we had very little schools, and that too were giving a 2-year diploma, how do you think this wonderful storytelling ecosystem got developed? Because kids learn on job. Many of them were dropouts, but they were creative. There's some element in every Indian which is very popular and which is known as jugaad. And that jugaad was that creativity that we all had. And how does one see where it began, how it began, and why it began? So I'm going to take you through a very small story, because I'm in the business of storytelling. And I believe all of you are in the business of storytelling. Do you all agree with me? Yes. Some people are nodding like this, I can't understand. So we are all in the business of storytelling. Once upon a time, 10,000 years ago, as the animals lived in the caves, even human beings lived in the caves. As the animals did hunting, humans also did hunting. They didn't wear clothes, these guys also didn't wear clothes. But there was something that's when we say that we were nowhere. Where were we? We were nowhere. China. Yeah. So when we were living with those animals 10,000 years, we were nowhere. But there was something on the top floor of our body, which was called mind, which had creativity and desire, which was absent with many species that were there on the earth. And that's when we got civilized. We started living in communities, small huts were made, the food was cooked, and we started wearing clothes. So from nowhere, we all went somewhere. Where did we go? Somewhere. From nowhere, we all went somewhere. And when we went somewhere, that kid of creativity and design didn't stop. A mankind invented a wheel. You know wheel? Yes. Which was not God-given, which was invented by a human being. And then, from nowhere we went somewhere, and then somewhere that Kida wanted to take us everywhere. So we wanted to go here, there, and explore these things. So much so that we started going elsewhere. That we started having breakfast in one city, lunch in another city, dinner in another city, and we wanted to be everywhere. Right? From nowhere to everywhere. No, somewhere to somewhere. And from somewhere we went everywhere. So when we went everywhere and we were exploring the world, slowly we realized that we are elsewhere. Where are we? Elsewhere. Because many of you are sitting here. Some of them have their mobile phones like this. When you are in your drawing room, grandpa, grandmother, grandfather, father, mother, everybody is sitting together, but everybody is elsewhere. Where are they? Yes. So the power of creativity, the power of design is to bring you now here. Where? Here. Now? Here. In the presence. So this is a story of nowhere to now here. So we went from nowhere to somewhere to elsewhere. Sorry, everywhere. Everywhere to elsewhere. And elsewhere we have to have our businesses which brings you now. If you are not able to bring your consumer now here, if your story is not bringing your audience now here, if your product is not bringing your customers now here, you will miserably fail. And that's why the creativity has to be. an integral part of our day-to-day life. We need to be so creative and we need to design systems which actually works and works in a way that actually gives you a lot of power. I'll tell you a small story. At one point in time, there is something called as a final push. You know what is the final push? Do you know all the eagles? Eagles lay their eggs on the top of a hill and on a very high positions. And then, as the eggs hatch, the birds come out, they are fed there. And then every time these birds are watching, they are always on a cliff. And they are watching down. And they are always having a fear that they will fall and what will happen to them. And there comes a day that the mother eagles give them a final push. You know what is final push? You actually push them so that they start falling, and in the process they start learning how to fly. So in the businesses today, we have to realize that we always keep watching our businesses from the cliff. But there has to be a moment that we need to do a final push. And how will you do this final push? Because it's scaling. The businesses are very dear to you. Your products are very dear to you. Your employees are very dear to you. And you dare very little to give a final push. And to give this final push, there has to be a lot of considerations. And what are these considerations all about? Is something that we need to really see. That how this evolution has actually taken place. We all create businesses. We are all talking about transformation since the morning. We are talking about the importance of transformation. We also were talking about the branding and building reputation. And what a session that we had today, both these sessions, the first two sessions that we had in the morning. The complete reputation building actually takes a lot of effort. And as we take this reputation, one has to understand that the first in the mind in the laws of branding are very critically the number one in the world. When I say the first in the mind, do you know how does a product or service take a birth?
Out of pain. Out of some pain.
Some pain, some need. So you identify a need. And then you want to satisfy that need. And that's how you create a product or a service. And then you start building a brand and you start building your reputation. But there is another way that we talked about in the later sessions today, which is disrupting the creation of these needs or the complete creation of product making and services is the invention in technology. The second way, apart from identification of need, is the technology says that I can become a cell phone, which was not needed. We were happy with that phone. But technology said I can give you something which you can carry with you. Okay? The technology tomorrow will say that I'll give you something which you can fit, operate in your mind and fit